got an alert that says that we're live.
Yeah, Facebook Live it's on my phone.
Yeah, it says that we're live.
We're live.
On
Are you?
On Facebook, YouTube,
Facebook and YouTube. I didn't see a civil tension link.
No, there isn't one. Let's play some music. That music can only mean one thing. It's time to build bridges. This is Bridging Civil Tension right here on 21.6 The Net. He, of course, is Phil Wallace, the
Phil
man.
Wallace here.
Phil is an author, a coach, an entrepreneur, mentor. This guy does it all. And, of course, he is African-American.
Yes.
I am Kent Jones, founder, CEO of 21.6 The Net, and I, of course, am not African American. Hey, Phil, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
It's good. I think we gotta adjust. I think we gotta adjust the lighting in here a little bit. For those of you who are on the radio, did I scare the black out of you?
This is Tim Stewart, Coach Papa, but
we are two
bald guys and a microphone. And that is the real Phil Wallace.
Hey, just a quick shout out. We wanted everybody to know that starting Monday morning, this coming up Monday.
Back to our original time, 6 a.m. on Monday mornings.
6 a.m. Monday mornings. Two bald guys and a microphone. Coming back at you live and in person. No better way to start your week than with a little bit of agitation.
Well, how's it go? When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, and the road you're trudging seems all uphill. When the funds are low and the debts are high, when you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit. Don't run to us. We don't give a... Well, yeah, we do. We are two bald guys and a microphone. We'll turn that frown upside down. We'll jumpstart your heart. You got a long week ahead. This is the right place to start. So Monday morning, 6 a.m., two bald guys return to the...
And, of course, this is not Phil. That's actually Coach Papa. Phil, how are you? You're down in Georgia.
I just watching you two freestyle was amazing.
Oh, that was all scripted. I mean, it's written right here on this coaster.
It's on the teleprompter.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, man, good stuff, brother. I know you're down in Georgia for some family business. Sorry to hear that. Our thoughts and prayers go out to you, the family.
Thank you.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
Good. Gary, good morning. Glad to have you with us. We are live on the YouTube as well. Fantastic. Derek says, good morning. Happy Friday. And happy birthday to Alice. Yes, my dear wife. God love her. She's probably sleeping. She's down in St. Louis hanging out with her family and one of our daughters and just having a good old time on her birthday. So.
Did you say old and her birthday in the same phrase?
Right. That's right.
50. Don't do that.
53 today. She's wonderful.
And how much does she weigh?
Yeah. $1.05. All right. Hey, man, what's on your mind today, Phil? What do we got?
Before you guys go, I got to take off. I have an interview at 10 o'clock with a gentleman, John Kennedy, who wrote Combat Brain Training. We're going to have him on.
Awesome. Combat Brain Training.
Good to see you, Phil.
Good stuff.
Good to see you, Coach.
See you.
That is it.
Peace out. Good to see you,
All right, brother. Be good. Thanks, Coach, for pinch hitting this morning. Hey, Brittany Briner, still over there. Now they're saying maybe her trial will be in a month.
Yeah, there's a 30 days to the next to the trial, and then we'll see how long she gets sentenced for that vape pen.
Yeah. And that's crazy. And I don't know why she's still over there, but Again, if it was different, a different person, perhaps maybe it would be different.
It just seems extreme for a vape pen. Like with the legalization and stuff like that, and I understand that rules are different in different countries, but like a vape pen is going to be the possibility of that many years is, I feel, excessive, but you know, is what it is. I guess you can't make rules for other countries. So if she
That's
did
right.
something illegal, sure, but just seems a little bit extreme.
I'm just going to switch cameras here real quick.
Are you going to the DJ booth camera?
Yeah, I'm heading into the production booth. There we go.
There it is.
There it is. All right, beautiful.
I feel like you would do story time in that.
Good stuff. That's right. All right, Chad. Good morning. Glad to see you, brother. Gary says vaping and its equipment are 100% illegal in Singapore.
Really?
Must be in Russia too, because well, she's in. It's not the vape pen. I think it's that it had cannabis or something, juice or I don't know what it exactly.
Gary is Delta like Delta 9 and like CBD, is all that illegal over there as well? To
Yeah,
like the same extent.
could be.
That's,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, but not. It's illegal, but not in the same category as the drugs. So that's interesting. Um, which is which is wild. Which is wild. So,
Would
go ahead. Go ahead.
100%, man.
100%. Yeah. Whew. See, folks, that vape, we live in a good country. Anything with cannabis is under the Drug Act. Emery, good morning. Yeah, so what I've had a crazy week. It's been just a busy week for me. Gary says vaping and its liquid is under the Tobacco Act. So
Okay.
there's just no hemp, no cannabis, just THC, right? So, um, so what's on your mind this week, Phil?
So there's a few things. I kind of did want to touch on how we ended last week. I felt like we kind of rushed the ending of last week's question. And then did you see all the things with the rappers who got arrested with the
Oh,
RICO? There's like 50 individuals who got arrested under the RICO Act. Almost like if it's like a not legalized crime, but like organized crime. Uh, then all of them were indicted and arrested and facing major charges. More and more rap artists are being named and listed, and it's getting to be excessive. And one of the artists said, "Okay, if this organization got this RICO Act, why didn't the KKK? It's going to be organized crime." And so, I don't know. We can go the first question first and touch on that on the end, or however you want to go about it.
well, we can stay with Rico if you want, and for those people who are listening, let's just put it out there. RICO Act, RICO Act. For those of you who don't know, this is the Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organization Act, commonly referred to as the RICO Act or simply RICO. It is a United States federal law that provides for extended criminal penalties and civil cause of action for acts performed as part of an ongoing criminal organization. So what they're saying is these rappers are organized crime.
Yeah, I guess this group of friends, I guess they claim to be blood. I don't know for sure or not. So I guess because with the gang affiliation that they openly speak about, I'm not sure what they did to be under the as far as organized crime. But they're being charged. If you look up, the dude's name is Young Thug. So if you look up Young Thug and his charges in Atlanta, go ahead.
Yeah. So the rapper Young Thug slapped with additional gun drug charges after arrest at a Buckhead home, during which he was arrested in a sweeping gang indictment. The rapper, whose real name is Jeffrey Williams, was originally indicted on RICO and gang charges. More charges were added after authorities raided the home Williams was staying at and found guns and drugs. Now, Williams has now also been charged with possession of marijuana with intent to distribute, possession of a Schedule 3, 4, and 5 controlled substance with intent to distribute, possession of sawed-off shotgun, possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony, and other charges related to criminal street gang activity, according to the records from the Fulton County Jail. According to documents obtained by us here at 216 The Net, at the time of the arrest, Williams was in possession of 20 bottles of YSL slime drink containing THC, 1,299 grams of marijuana, 31 bottles of promethazine codeine syrup, a Scheduled 5 controlled substance, a Glock
Sheesh.
30S 45 caliber firearm, a Glock 357 firearm, a FN57 firearm, a Glock 19 9mm, a Smith & Wesson M&P firearm, and a fully automatic Glock 45 9mm handgun with an extended magazine with a converter switch. Wow. Now,
Yeah, he's serious.
no. It doesn't say that they're illegal. He may have bought those and have them all registered, right?
Right.
So, that's what it is. Now, I don't know enough about Jeff Williams, our good friend.
Hmm.
But is he part of a gang? I don't know.
He claims in his songs that he is. So I'm assuming that he is. I guess he's part of that organization.
Okay. And so we're upset with that, or we're like, okay, good, we got gang members off the street.
No. Like, if you're, obviously, if you're doing illegal drugs and you got guns and stuff like that, and it's cool for that. Yes, like if you, like, I guess, if Brittany was in Singapore and Brittany had the drugs on her, great.
Right.
If this was a gang activity and they robbed someone in the gang and they were arrested, and you were arrested for robbery or possession of a weapon,
Yep.
things like that, or armed robbery, cool. I guess just when it's the RICO Act and things like that, I've looked at historically, why isn't, to go back to T.I.'s question, why isn't the KKK under the same prosecution as like guns or gangs or certain like Black Panther leaders or like an MLK would be, or like why isn't, I mean, I'm not looking for them to do so I'm not trying to bring heat to this organization, but like
Right.
the mafia, like it's what it was originally created for,
Yeah.
but then that kind of got diluted. And then so that heat that went from the mafia was turned to the gangs, but like people know that the mafia didn't just disappear and quit, neither did the KKK. So
I thought that a district attorney or a state's attorney in New York ended the mafia.
in New York,
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I heard. There's no more mafia in America. And you know what? Let's be honest, folks. The downfall of the Italian mafia is when the United States started to go poo-poo. So, hey, when you knew who ran this place, and now we don't. Anyway,
I thought it was Jersey Shore. But
that's right. Anyway, so again,
like let's get bad guys off the street.
right? Let's
Black,
get bad
white,
guys off
brown,
the street.
yellow, the whole thing. Let's get organized crime off the street. Cool. But it doesn't seem like we're getting all organized crime.
Right. So, right. So the RICO Act says criminal penalties and a civil cause of action for acts performed as a part of an ongoing criminal organization. So somewhere we tagged the Bloods, Crips, or whatever a criminal organization, and perhaps the KKK is just a country club. I guess it's not criminal organization, right?
They do a lot of good deeds. They do. But
and how can it be when there's a lot of judges and mayors and you know what I'm saying?
I guess
I've never had the opportunity to enjoy a Ku Klux Klan meeting in person. Like I think the closest I came was either on Porky's, the movie, or Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Right. That's as close as I've come. But yeah, so interesting. Why do we tag that a criminal organization
Thank you.
and not another a criminal
Right.
organization?
I mean, like, I guess if you're looking at the original intent behind both organizations, the Bloods and the Crips were both originally intended to be able to
Mhm.
defend against the KKK, like as a
Yeah.
community, right? Just protect an organization to protect against the crimes that the KKK was doing.
Yep.
More so doing good, almost, similar to the Black Panthers, where it was an organization that was a little bit more vocally militant against hate crimes and segregation and things like that. That was going to bring
Yep.
awareness to, right? Um, the gangs and the Black Panthers, I guess if we're trying to just be neutral and say rightfully deserved a bad name, if that's the direction that we're going to go, okay, because people from the Bloods do bad things. Okay, cool. People from the Crips do bad things. Yes, they do. People from the Panthers have done bad things. Yes, they
Absolutely.
have.
Yeah.
But the KKK is flawless.
Yeah. And we're not by any means condoning the actions of street gangs, right?
Right. At
Uh,
all.
or are we supporting them or whatever, right? Because there are those that are organized, gangs. I will say, do a lot of good sometimes in the areas that they're at. They give back. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
The mafia, absolutely. Has that. You take a look at El Chapo or whatever his name is. The people loved him there because you know it's interesting.
Right.
um, so uh, people on social media, right, um, have asked this, Phil. The recent arrest of the Georgia rappers Young Thugs and Gunna are sparking new interest in the state's racketeer influenced or the RICO Act is relative new law and is being applied to organizations or groups that seem to be tied with a string of criminal activity. People are asking the same question. Uh, Actually, the KKK is not exempt from the RICO Act, but they haven't necessarily been charged either, right?
Right.
As
Well,
far as we know.
it just seems like historically, like, right, when they're like, Martin Luther King is America's number one threat.
Hmm.
And certain organizations use their resources to track, record, follow, tape, whatever they could do to find dirt on this individual. Uh, if you watch the movie Black Klansman, it's a story about how when they started to figure out that KKK members had kind of gone from the outspokenish side to being in certain positions in the
Hmm.
government, and then they shut down the investigation. I'm
Right.
just not seeing as many resources being delegated in that direction as I'm seeing to prosecute in other directions. And not that those other directions don't need to be prosecuted. I just think if we're going to get away, if we're getting rid of all of the bad guys, let's get rid of
Yeah.
all of the bad guys.
Yep. So the interesting thing is, um, the United States government is, in 1871, so a couple hundred years ago, right, or over 100 years ago, Congress passed the Ku Klux Klan Act. It was a passage of the Third Force Act, popularly known as Ku Klux Klan Act, which authorized Ulysses S. Grant to declare martial law, impose heavy penalties against terrorist organizations, and use military force to suppress the Ku Klux Klan. So, founded in 1865 by a group of Confederate veterans, the Ku Klux Klan rapidly grew from a secret social fraternity to a paramilitary force bent on reversing the federal government's progressive Reconstruction Reconstruction era activities in the South. So, here's an interesting thing to what you're saying too, Phil. Is Congress has said, "Hey, they're terrorists," and yet
So going with that,
we'll
right?
we'll go find a guy in a hole in the middle of a desert, spend millions and millions of dollars to do that.
So you delegate, Malcolm X is a threat, Fred Hampton, you killed him,
Yep.
Martin Luther King, whatever. They're a threat. we can see proof of those arrests. Terrorist act, like you said, Bin Laden's a terrorist. Other members of the organization were terrorists. We can see those arrests, right? They arrested this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, number of them. Okay, we can say whatever we want to. This KKK organization is a terrorist act. Who do you know by name from the KKK?
Yep.
I know more BLM leaders arrested than KKK members historically. So how is this happening? How is it that even though we've never seen these people prior to their arrest, somehow they're now leaders in the BLM organization? But that's a story for a different time. We could see those arrests over and over and over again, but not one time do I know of that it says KKK member out of Georgia, KKK member in northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. KKK member was found arrested because he was moving opioids to the southeast Louisiana or southwest or southeast Wisconsin territory.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to put this out there, so that everybody knows this. I've lost my hair. I'm not a skinhead. I want that. It's falling out, folks.
It's okay. Kent's one of us, guys.
But here, so let's just take a look at the last 20 years. We were in a war to stop terrorism, to defend our country on terrorism, right? And we went across the globe to find and fight terrorism. However, in 1871, we said, well, we have terrorists here. Now, if we can spend 20 years fighting terror in foreign country,
right?
My question would be, so this was in 1871, we tagged terror. Wouldn't we want? I'm not a politician. I don't know exactly how these things work, nor am I someone who defends our rights and freedoms. So I don't understand necessarily how it works. However, listen, you got a mouse in your house. You're not going to go out to the field to kill all the other mice, right?
They're right here. Get this one.
Yeah,
get one. Show one.
Get this one. Ted says, in this country, just about anyone who speaks against our government in a group setting gets arrested. Yes, and Nate says, "Yep, I'm losing mine too."
Come on home, Nate.
America, absolutely. That comes from the guy in Singapore. So interesting. I'm not by any means defending the people who were arrested this week. Bad people do bad things. Good people do bad things. Good people do good things. Bad people, people are just people, right?
Right.
Now, I don't know the extent of how deep it goes, right? I don't know if there's been murders. I don't know, hey, Phil, sorry that you're feeling unwell. Why do you have all this Robitussin?
Right. Maybe he's got the sniffles.
You're not going to throw RICO charges at you because you got Robitussin. Right. I don't get it.
So that's where I think, that question stems from, because if we're so militant or we're so pressed on stopping crime, cool. Yeah. Organized crime, cool. Stopping bad people, I get it. I'm not seeing the same effort at all.
Yeah.
In that particular direction. And why? Is it because if we find out who's a part of that organization? Pretty high up the chain?
Well, no, right? Because as well as I do. And I'm not, this isn't a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
There's jailbait out there, right? I mean, this guy, young thug, he ain't the leader of the band. You know what I'm saying? He's the front man, right? He's the scout dog or whatever. If it's truly a big organization, then this man knows he's going to take his time for it. Now, I don't know if he's ever been in prison before,
Right.
but in the world of hip hop, that adds a lot of credibility to now what you write and sing about,
Right.
right? And that's just the truth. Um, you know, Johnny Cash sang about the Folsom County. So it's just when it depends your genre and your type of music, it just adds credibility, right? So there could be a piece of him who was like, "Woohoo! Guess what? I'm going platinum, baby." You know,
Right. Right.
you know.
But like, okay, so for instance, if I'm in Georgia, young African American, and I see Young Thug rapping about being a blood and things like that, and it gets me interested in becoming a blood, and I start throwing up the signs and all that whenever I'm out and about and I'm a part of the organization. Right now, I would be under investigation too.
Yeah.
So if you were taking pictures with individuals who are known white supremacists and stuff like that, and you're hanging out, blah blah blah, like you could be under the same investigation, but we're not seeing that to the
Uh,
same extent.
well, yeah, and it goes back to again, what picture are we painting, right? We've talked about this a million times,
Right.
right? Um, oh my gosh, there's a lot of love. People aren't afraid of black people anymore. Look at this. Things are going well. Whoops. Let's
Right.
whoops. Uh, yeah, Phil, we're gonna have to. People are starting to love each other. Everybody's being nice to each other. This is not the way America should run. Let's make the African Americans the bad people again. I,
Right. and,
I
and we're used to the play and it and the thing is it's not even how kind of sometimes how it could be like free the bad guys. You'll see sometimes free the homie even though he's shot 4 or 5 people.
mm-hmm.
That's not even what this is. If they did bad things, let them go to jail. Cool.
Yep.
If we're saying that we're going to arrest individuals who are organized crime and still commit acts of terror and things like that in certain neighborhoods, if we're stopping people who perpetuate hate,
Oh, yeah.
I think it'd be a
Uh,
great place to start.
gang chants, gang hand signs are illegal in Singapore. Anybody caught doing this in public or private events are arrested under the Gang Act. Good thing I didn't throw down the forks,
Yep.
because I didn't. If somebody saw that on your screen, Gary, um, or the 5 star, I just, I'm old
Yeah.
school. I'm old school. That's all.
But I guess if you throw it up after shooting in Kenosha, you're a patriot over here, Gary.
I'm sorry about that. So here's the interesting thing that it dawns on me, uh, pulling that up is we have a known terrorist group. It's
Right.
been tagged by the United States Congress as a terrorist group, and yet we still allow it to run around in our house. And that's an interesting thing. It's got me a little bit baffled. I'm like, well, this is interesting and weird all at the same time. Gary says there have been many cases of gang members doing this at public funerals, and the police swoops in less than 5 minutes and arrests them.
Uh, we're told that it's a coincidence that maybe his name is Phil Wallace and it doesn't stand for white power. That
Yeah,
could be a number of things.
could be a number. Technically, they are illegal in all of the United States too. Police just don't enforce it.
Right.
Well.
Well, okay.
So
To that.
so
Oh, go ahead.
with that, let me bring this up as the resident white guy is so why don't we enforce it? Why do we enforce it on Crips, Bloods, teens, right? What?
So we do. That's what I was saying. We do. As
Yep.
far as it's not necessarily a swoop in, as far as like if I'm in Athens and I throw up something like that or whatever,
Yeah.
that they're going to come to my address. However, I have now, police is a gang. True. I have now put myself on the radar. So if they're investigating a cousin or whatever, and I throw up the same sign as my cousin, I now go on that cork board
Right.
to investigate. And there's actual effort being done to see if they can catch me in illegal crimes. However, if I throw this up, no effort is made whatsoever, apparently.
And speaking of throwing up signs right there, this is Bridging Civil Tension 216 The Net, of course, through the financial support of our good friends over at, where are they at? Oh, yes, they're at Gold Shield. Check them out at www.goldshield today. HVAC, electric, plumbing, smart house. You got a home, they got you the guts of it all taken care of. So the heartbeat of your home taken care of by our good friends over at Gold Shield Services. Check them out at www.goldshieldtoday.com. How's that for throwing? I don't know. Derek, you guys have like a gang sign? Let me see. I don't even know what sign language is for a G and an S. But
GS.
yeah,
They all wear Golden State hats.
yeah,
So, you know.
I don't know. Yeah. So the interesting thing is, Gary said it too. The only gang that we have in Singapore is the police. Derek throws that up. Police is a gang, and I guess we are anal in enforcing the important laws. And yes, and yeah, we have the shield, baby. That's right, the shield for your home. Nice. Wow, Kent. Happy Friday. The Gold Shield gangs in the house. Yeah.
I'm
Talk
not
about a Rico over there.
a-
They got trucks rolling down the street. Everything gang colors, black and gold. No. All right. So, interesting thing is, it was a big thing when it was the Italian mafia, right?
Mhm.
And it was everywhere, and the news absolutely loved those stories, and we were glued, to the TV when the Teflon Don was in, was in court. God rest his soul. And Sammy the Bull Gravano and people of that nature, and that was that. Oh yeah, we needed to put an end to that. Now again, this is an organized, what the United States tabbed as organized, a criminal organization, right?
Right.
And money laundering, drugs. We know the story. If not, watch The Sopranos. Great show as well. Watch The Godfather. Actually, Godfather 3 is probably the closest thing to real life. If you ever just want to watch and see what it is.
That's the one.
That's the one. That's what people who are in the mafioso have said, is that is the closest to the real deal. Anyway, I digress. And now we love to wave the flag, saying, "Oh, look at these African Americans! Look at them. They've got tattoos. They've got guns and cough syrup. They've got marijuana. They've got." And interesting that they didn't just say guns. The interesting thing too is they didn't say how many rounds of ammunition, nor did they say that they were illegally gotten, right?
Right.
And so he may have gone about it the whole right way and have all these guns legally registered, everything,
Right.
right? And but the story doesn't say that. The story leads you to believe thug. It's in his name. And look at all this. Why does any one man need an arsenal like that? Well, I know a couple people who would laugh at the size of that arsenal.
Right.
Just be like, hey, that's cute. It's a cute collection, right?
That's not a knife. It's a knife.
But yeah, right. But again, we in America tend to allow things to happen, tend to look the other way on certain things,
Right.
and we don't look the other way on certain other things, and that's a tough thing. And those are the things we're trying to bridge a little bit, right? So let's take weed. Was illegal for the longest time and brought in by a lot of organized crime in many different nationalities. But now it's legal. And it's not as fun now that it's legal. You used to think you were getting away with something, right? That's they're like back when I was growing up, it was like, oh man, I get so much paranoia. You don't get paranoid. You were paranoid you were going to get caught with it. That was a problem because it was illegal. Now enjoy a gummy and just relax, right?
See, that's why you're stressed.
That's why you stress. Now it's not illegal, right? And by the way, you can shop over at our good friends at the Cannabis CBD shop for this good stuff right here, or you go out to Bloomble, right?
Bloomble.com. Absolutely.
Bloomble.com. Yeah.
Shout out to Zevin.
Yeah. So yes, times change. We know it. But again, I'm going to go back to something here. There is a war going on right now with Ukraine and Russia, and it's causing a lot of tension. I'm going to go back to this, people, and I'm going to say this: Putin's a bad man. Why isn't he using his air force? I mean, he literally, this could be done already, right? This whole thing, if you were to, it's like Risk. If you were to take a look at the army against army, guess what? It would be over, right? Now, we here in America are like, oh, how dare they, Putin, this, that, the third, da, 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 going into somebody else's country. We did that for 20 years in the name of fighting terrorists, terrorism. And we put a tag on them. Oh, ISIS or whatever, right? Taliban.
Right.
We don't even know what that means or who it is. However, in the 1800s, we tagged a group. We tagged a group as terrorists. Congress did. The KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. We tagged them as a terrorist group. Yet you can probably do a Wikipedia or a Google search and find out who is the Grand Dragon Master, right? So we went over and we Bin Laden, we had to get rid of him. We found him. SEAL Team 6 goes in. Yet you can Google who the Grand Master Dragon leader of the Ku Klux Klan is.
Lives, country club he attends.
And that's all good.
Sleeps like a baby.
See, now I didn't know. I didn't know that we had our government had tagged them as a terrorist group. And for all of our Ku Klux Klan members out there, out there in the world and listening, thank you for listening. First of all, second of all, my name is not Kent Jones.
Right.
This
is an alias.
Yeah. This is just my stage name. No,
it is actually Tobias Combs.
Right. And I'm not. All we're trying to do is draw a parallel. Is all we're trying to do is draw a parallel on why certain organized crime clubs are always under the gun being investigated. And is it because they don't wear bed sheets? Maybe
if they have the hoods. The bandanas need to go over the face, and then they'd be safer, I guess.
Right. So perhaps the problem is brothers just wear hoodies in the face shows.
Right.
So maybe if y'all would turn the hoodies around and cut eye holes in there,
good.
Then perhaps I don't I don't know. I mean, you kind of stick out if you're going to the mall dressed for a Ku Klux Klan rally. Somebody might go, huh? Well, that's interesting.
Look at him. All right.
No.
I think he got baptized today.
Right. It must
No.
be I don't know. Right. However, you know, you take Aaron or Jaqueline
Jaqueline.
and Balake and you go out there. I don't know. I don't know. Two Live Crew. Yeah, I could. I do have some of that. Was just actually playing a little bit of. Scott and I were yesterday golfing and playing a little bit of rolling down the street in my 6'4" out there on the golf
I
course.
wish you would have like snapped me that. Just the
That's it.
level of laughter that would have
I know, Bill. I have to jump on camera once in a while. Mary Shep came in. Hi, Mary.
Where are you, Phil? I brought food.
I'm in Georgia. I had a family
Missing out.
emergency. Thank you so much. Phil.
Yeah.
Georgia.
Of course, you're going to stick around because at 11 o'clock, at 11 bells, Mary Shep is living low sodium right here every Friday at 11, which is fun.
Nice.
I can put you on camera if you want to get on this show.
No, I'm okay. I'll be on camera for an hour.
I know.
Thank you, Mary.
Yes, it is. Gary says, it's Mary. Ted says, hey, Mary.
I feel like a photo bomb in the background.
That's it. Here, I'll hold my hands out like this. It'll look like a selfie.
Like a selfie.
That's it. Good stuff. All right. So I think we beat this. I think we've started a good conversation, started building a good bridge there. And I would really love some of our listeners out there to be able to chime in as well and say, you want me to turn that mic on? To chime in as well to say why if they're members or have family members in an organized club to say, hey, I mean, and if I were to throw out the word Mason, might be another one.
I know a lot of Freemasons.
Well, when she says Freemasons, she's not meaning the bricklayers.
No.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I mean, a lot of them historically were.
Yeah.
But no, I was listening to you guys on the way in, and it's funny how human nature, we're selfish.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter in what aspect we're selfish. And you give somebody a little bit of power on top of that, and that selfishness spreads. Just like hate spreads, that selfishness spreads. Now, the problem is if... So, let's take the boogeyman. You know what? Let's make it more personal and make it fun in case my husband's listening. I doubt it, but maybe. So have you seen the movie Critters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The little porcupine-looking things that chew up your flesh and kill you. I have a ingrained, like, to my core. I am an adult. I am scared of very few things. Those things have terrified me since I was little because my sisters, who are much older than me, and my cousins all thought it was fun every time, way back in the 80s and 90s when those movies came out, to torture me as a child. Because, being the youngest, I went to bed first.
Yeah.
So, putting things under my bed and spooking me and all this stuff.
Right.
So if all my life I'm taught to be terrified of that. Now that I'm an adult, the rational side of me says not to be terrified of that.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that you mention it or show me a picture of it or talk about it. It doesn't, to my core, give me the heebie-jeebies. And the same as, these mafia and these gangs and these Ku Klux Klan and all of these things, if all you've ever known is this is how it is, and this is the evil that we're trying to stop you from,
right?
Even though that's not really an evil, Phil is not the evil that I should be terrified of.
Right.
But if all I've ever known is someone teaching me that, how do you can teach me that I don't need to be scared of that. That doesn't mean that if you put a critter here, I'm going to be going, you need to
but I've seen,
stop.
I've seen Phil break backboards. He's very angry.
Well, now I'm glad he's in a different state. He's in Georgia.
Right.
I already got a broken backbone.
Backboard,
yeah,
not backbone. His is backboard.
See, spreading rumors. Backboard, basketball.
Right?
That's right.
And that's how it begins.
And that's how
legally. legally.
And here's, but again, I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to go back to say that these clubs, I'm not even going to call them gangs. I'm going to call them clubs, right? Because we can't call them gangs for minorities and not for non-minorities, right? It's club.
Everybody's got them,
right? Motorcycle clubs. Derek is part of a MC, right? Which get a lot of bad raps. But at the same time, these are still people who do toy drives for the less fortunate. They do good things.
You know, I wish I could remember the name of them. There's an actual motorcycle organization for abuse cases. They take their clout and their presence specifically to go so that men, women, and children, you know, anybody in an abuse case that's scared to testify against their abuser, they're there with them for that presence.
Yeah. And Ted says one of the nicest men I ever met was a Mason. My grandfather, I believe, was a Mason as well.
A lot of Masons.
And that's probably why I live the life that I do. No, I don't. I don't know the secret society, the handshakes or butt rubs or whatever the Masons do.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But the truth be told is, you know, I guess you look at and you have to weigh the good versus the bad, right? If all that my little gang does, and we'll call it the 216ers, go around, and the 216ers just murder. We just murder 13-year-old adolescent kids, right? That just for no reason. That's kind of a bad thing, I would say. However, if 216 goes around and we give back to the community, we raise money for the homeless, we work in soup kitchens. Oh, and once in a while we launder money and kill somebody if they come on our turf just because they were in the wrong neighborhood. Is that necessarily so bad?
Yep. That's the thing but you guys are 100% correct in that it's not being punished.
Right.
But if you look at historically who did the second of the two,
right,
the second one was actually the Panthers. If you look what the Panthers were doing, it was after school education, before school education, rides to work for people who were didn't have public transportation, food for people who couldn't afford it, grocery, like they were doing good deeds. And if a cop harassed them, then they would shoot a cop.
Right, but
if the KKK harassed them, they would shoot the person. But they were bringing together the KKK, the gangs and stuff like that to stop violence in Chicago. And they broke into the leader's home in the middle of the night and shot him and killed him.
Yeah.
I don't see that for the Dragon Master of the KKK.
Well, that's because we don't know Jeremy and Luke and Bobby are those people. I mean, we could tell because it's their shoes and the way they walk with a limp, but they have a pillowcase over their head. So we're not quite sure that we can't really tell that it's them.
You get a card. They give you a membership card.
You get an ID.
Can I see your driver's license?
If I had friends or families in gangs, none of them like, here's my Quip card. Like, none of them have that. You know who it is.
I want to know who's printing those. Do they like go to an office, Max? Like, I'm sorry. I used to work in an office supply store.
We got 6 new white guys starting up this week. I need cards for them.
If you watch Black Klansman, they send you like the information to fill out, and then you get, and that's the thing is that the black officer can show you his KKK membership card.
That's it. Could I see your driver's license and your insurance? I only have this KKK card on me. You're free to
sir. Oh, you're one of us. Never mind. You know what? Let me stop.
I have to say that the amount of times that I've had an argument with somebody when I ran the office supply store in our printing department about why I can't print what you're asking me to print, and they're straight faced looking at me going, "But I don't get it." But I mean. I mean, no one's ever came to me with a KKK ID, but there's been some pretty gnarly stuff that have come through, and I'm going, I'm sorry, I can't print.
That's something we don't want to
You're going to have to buy a printer and do it on your own.
So Ted asked, so did the Crips create crypto? to make it easier. Maybe.
Ted.
Hey.
Yeah. No, that would be impressive, though. That would
Right?
That is.
That's what's funding them.
That's right. They're all sitting there laughing, saying, thanks, Elon. Elon is an African.
To go with Mary said though about the critters, the thing is for Mary, your critters are being prosecuted. So one by one, you can say, like in this situation, 50 critters are off the street. I can sleep safer. I'm in Georgia. My critters are alive and well. My critters will ride right past me with the rebel flags on their pickup trucks and their overalls, and my critters have zero fear next to a police officer what they will and won't be able to say to me to reinstill that fear.
Yeah.
Like I don't know your whole history, but like I don't know if a random black person is like, ha, just like jumped out at you. Just hearing you. But we've had instances where my critters are up close and personal.
So let's talk about those critters for a quick second.
I love that we're calling it that now. So it's my own personal trigger every time you guys are awesome.
As Bobby, this brilliant gentleman, steals an ambulance and takes the police and takes the highway patrol on a 70-mile high-speed chase.
Right.
Bobby does, right? White as the pure driven snow, right? Mm-hmm. He jumps out and starts running. Every state trooper gets out, and he jumps over the fence or whatever, throws his bag. He's got a bag with him too. You don't know what's in there.
Grabs the bag.
Grabs a bag. You don't know what's in there. This dude jumps over the fence, and not one gun drawn on this dude. Not one gun drawn. You just chase this guy for 70 miles. And nobody's got a taser out, nobody's got a gun out, and nobody's jumping the fence going after this guy, right? And he's got this bag. They're trying to talk him down, the state troopers. The guy picks up the bag and starts running again. Not a shot in the back, nothing. These troopers then decide, well, let's jump the fence and chase after him. The dog, the German Shepherd, is set loose. This was the funniest. And some of the comments on social media were great. The German Shepherd is let loose to go track the guy down, runs by the guy. He just runs right by this guy who's fleeing. The guy tries to flag down a car. The car won't stop, whatever. He gets tackled, finally taken down. Now, why? Now, let's say that's not Bobby. Let's say that's Balake, right? Or Aaron. And all of a sudden, when he jumps that fence or he comes to a screeching stops and gets out and runs, he ain't running very far.
Good.
Right? History has proven that. It was a very interesting, subcase. It might be out on bridging civil tension or the bridge out there on Facebook.
Well, Bobby also tried to break into a truck.
Yeah.
So when he got to the other side of the highway, he tried to pull someone's door open.
Yep.
Still no gun drawn.
Nothing.
What we've been told is if Balake were to go for the bag, well, we don't know what's in the bag. When the kid was asleep, we don't know what he's grabbing for, even though he's asleep. This dude went towards the bag with whatever is in it, and we chased him down. That critter, alive and well.
Right.
We sat there and talked to him. Hey, buddy, this has been a long 70-mile chase. We need you to just stay right where you're at. Don't move. Get down on the ground.
So Mary, going back to our conversation. So imagine, I guess you can kind of know what your critters look like. My critters have been able to blend in all around.
Now, and for the people who are going to send in the emails to me and start commenting, Phil's not saying for him alone. Phil's talking specifically for a race, right?
So I had chimed in on one of your guys' shows a while ago because my aha moment in all of this was and you might remember I had chatted this in that I had to have a conversation with someone, and I was talking about an event I did down on the south side of Chicago with Boys and Girls Club, and so I was telling somebody after the fact about this story, and when I told the story, for some reason the words just came out of my mouth, and I stopped dead in my tracks, and they had kind of looked at me like, "Are you going to finish your sentence?" So I finished my sentence, and then afterwards I said, I just literally had an epiphany, and it changed my perspective, and I started thinking back on things in my life. And the moment was because when I was telling them about this story and about doing this event and how this little girl had just helped me, she was amazing. I mean, the spirit in this child is just infectious, and she made my whole week. It was amazing. But when I told the story to him, I felt the need to say this little black girl.
Yeah.
And it clicked in my head for whatever reason. I told that story a million times because I still have the little thing that she made me. Like it was amazing, but I felt the need to identify her as something. And it clicked in my head that I never realized how many times that I did that. I don't do it like Dawn. I'm not like, oh, my Jewish friend, Dawn.
Right.
You know, my Italian friend, my African friend, I had coffee the other day with a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
She's Brazilian.
I'm from Wales. My
you
family.
know,
we're Welsh.
I'm a mutt born in Jacksonville. So,
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like I never, so I thought about it. And as I'm reflecting on things in my life, and you talk about, you know, your critters hiding in plain sight.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm trying to reflect to understand, because I pride myself in saying and teaching other people, try to look at it from somebody else's perspective. Try to look at it from someone's perspective who's walking down the street and a cop walks by and they get that, like me with those critters, you get that chill in your spine going, like, do I look wrong? Am I wearing the wrong colors? Am I like, is there any reason that cop is going to turn around and look at me? I've never had that fear until I got arrested. I got arrested for something stupid. I bounced a check, but I was literally on my way to work and there's a cop knocking on my door with a warrant for my arrest.
Right.
So now I can't help but feel every time I see a cop, I still get this little like, whoo, last time I didn't know why he was showing up and he showed up and arrested my ass.
Right.
And I go, holy shit. After I had this aha moment and I'm trying to think of people's perspectives. And when somebody had mentioned to me, you never know what it's, and it might even be listening to you guys on the show saying, you don't know what it's like to walk through a crowd of people and be worried about that. And I went, holy shit, that one moment. And I'm a white girl who's probably never going to be arrested again if I can help it. But I couldn't imagine having that thought process just because you're walking past someone.
Yeah. So, Mary, the three of us are sitting in the room, right? Me, you, Kent. And I'm 6'5", 250.
Woo.
In your mind, there's a big black guy. Hypothetically, not that you think like this anymore or anything like that, right? And you could be scared of me. I promise you, I'm more afraid of you, and you are the scariest thing in the room.
Right.
You have white woman tears. You are the scariest, most dangerous threat. No, but I'm more terrified that if I move the wrong way or look at her, she could accuse me of, and I don't stand a chance in a hot place down south.
Yep.
I don't mean Georgia. And my life and my freedom could be taken from me. But
and
most people think the scariest thing in the room is the big black guy.
You know, and when people say, oh, that's not true, that's you're just overthinking. You're not. And my husband and I just watched a show the other day about how could somebody admit to murder that they didn't do. And they showed this trial and all these people that had been proven innocent 15, 20 years later. And there's this some white geeky looking dude and he's bawling his eyes out and finally says, you know what, I did it. I killed her. I murdered her. I stabbed her, whatever. He goes to jail, the whole 9 yards. And then after that, they show the rest of the interrogation and he goes, so when do I get to go home? He's so exhausted after all of this time. So now you tell me, you add this into what you're just saying now, where here I am, the pretty white girl that's screaming and crying and saying, Phil did this horrible thing. Like if certain tactics can persuade a perfectly innocent man in the wrong situation in the wrong time to admit that he committed a murder and go to jail for 15 years, before DNA evidence proved otherwise. What's that to say for someone like you who, like you said, is terrified in a situation where you brush up against me wrong and I say, oh, he assaulted me?
Well, because in the interrogation, they're going to tell you you can either admit it and let's just say do 3 to 5.
Right.
Or go to court. We prosecute you and you're looking at 15 to 20.
Right.
I'll just do the 3. But now I got to check that box for whatever you accuse me of.
Every time you do something. Yep.
I took the lesser of 2 evils of 3 to 5, but now I have to check that box for the rest of my life.
Ted says, or the disabled guy. I've been harassed by cops more times than most people ever. To see a cop in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, Ted, this is about race. It has nothing to do about disabilities.
Hey, there's a cripple in the room that can walk over and kick your ass for Ted. So you be nice.
We love Ted. Listen, this hour has absolutely flown by, and Ted, we're looking to do some things so we can get you in studio. So, and I did get your email. We'll touch base later on today, my friend.
Thanks for letting me crash your show.
Always. But our time is now up. You have to run. Phil, again, our condolences, our love to you and your family, and have a safe trip back. We'll see you when you get back. For all of us here, 21.6 The Net, thanks for bridging. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us, Mary. Thank you guys for tuning in. Love